There we go. 1 second. Okay. And yes, of course, this is the fun and garden show. You know, I just messed up at the very beginning of the show.
It's all right. That's okay.
Oh, that means that we're human.
Yeah,
we're not professional broadcasters.
No, we're
one day
beings.
we will be professional broadcasters.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fun and Garden Show exclusively on Radio St. George. 100.3. We want to thank our good friend Sean Denovan. He is the professor, the guru, the
Grand Poopah.
Grand Poopah. That's your word.
Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. He's the head cheese, the cheese of cheese, the cheesy cheese.
He's the sharp cheddar.
He is the sharp cheddar.
He's a good man.
Yo, he's awesome. He lets us come in and
play with the equipment, run it.
Absolutely. Talk about gardening, and in the past we've done cooking tips. We've done recipes from items that you grow at
lawn chair lady
from your garden. Yeah, we talk about the lawn chair lady, who's the snowbird that lives next door that likes to
Harvey the tortoise.
Yes, Harvey the tortoise as well.
And Chuckles is in the corner.
Chuckles, do we have a picture of Chuckles? Hold on, let me check the camera. Oh, we don't have a picture of Chuckles.
We can get him.
There we go. Kind of. Here, put him back a little bit towards you. This is important. He is our show mascot. There we go.
Oh, there's Chuckles.
That's Chuckles. All right. So this is the Fun and Garden Show. Of course, log on to funandgarden.com, and that's where you can find past episodes of the Fun and Garden Show.
All kinds of things.
And it's the best. Ultimately, this is the best way to communicate with us and interact with us is funandgardenshow.com. What do you think?
It is, yeah.
Of course, we're on Facebook Live, and so you can see how beautiful we look.
And YouTube.
Oh, yeah, we're on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Look at all this technology.
Yeah, paparazzi.com.
Paparazzi.com. Because we both have tons of
women chasing
listeners.
us.
Absolutely. Lots and lots of fans.
And drinkyourprescription.com.
Yep. No. What kind of drink are you
I'm
drinking
going to tell
morning?
you that it's water. I'm not going to tell you what it really is.
Oh, it's diet vodka.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm drinking
caffeine-free vodka.
Caffeine-free vodka. I'm drinking Dr. Pepper. You know what? They should give us free Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper should give us free Dr. Pepper for plugging them on our little show.
But I'd love to get free Diet Coke. I only spend about $1 million a year on Diet Coke.
Same thing with me with Diet Mountain Dew. So if anyone out there works for Coke or Mountain Dew,
send us a bunch.
We want free stuff because we are only here for free stuff.
And there are people out
I take that back. I take that back.
In the listening audience that go and buy that because we drink it.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you're a radio personality, that's what happens.
So I corrected myself. We're not just here for the free stuff.
No.
but we're here to educate the public on, give the public some ideas of planning.
I'm
growing your
here
garden.
to meet. I'm here to meet girls.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, I am too. Where's
And
the
I
girls
haven't met any of them
Well, where
yet.
the heck are they?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let's see, Woody.
I think they're outside chanting Artie, Artie, Artie.
They're chanting farty, Artie. It's I don't know if they like me then.
Yeah, you better not say that word.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the deal with the Fun and Garden show. We've talked about a lot of variety of topics. We've talked about sprinklers, preparing your sprinklers and
The soil.
yeah, we've talked about flowers, growing, you've given some awesome decoration tips in the past, how to make your garden look good, for the
Right.
neighbors. Gosh, what else we talked about? We've talked about lawns and sprinklers,
And vegetables.
lots
and
of good stuff.
Fruit and
Yeah.
fruit trees.
So
and
this has been a great
trimming
trimming trees. I need to start trimming my trees.
Yeah,
You've helped me. You've helped me in the past. I'll let everyone know out there. Woody's been very, very thoughtful and helpful to help me trim my trees. And I didn't think you really needed it, but then after you helped me,
Then you thought,
it's
yeah,
like, oh my gosh, this looks great.
well, the bill's coming.
Wait,
I only bill once a year, so it's coming.
I pay you in diet, caffeine-free diet Coke, and your wife
that's right.
diet.
Yeah, that's
Coke.
right. So never mind about the bill.
But I haven't paid you guys in quite some time.
No, it's all right.
Oh, and speaking of which, Mrs. Woody, she's a great seamstress. And I work at the Allability Spark Drive in the train, and you did too. That's how we met.
Right.
And she, I split my britches, and she did a really good job mending my train outfit and my overalls. And
it would have been easier if you'd taken them off, Artie.
but I still owe her a cheesecake and a whole bunch of Diet Coke.
Yeah, it's okay.
No,
Wait till the cool weather comes.
Okay. Well, what would that mean? You
You
want
know,
a pumpkin pie? You'd want a pumpkin pie instead of a cheesecake?
No,
or
cheesecake's good in October, November.
All right, so ask us a question. Radio St. George 100.3. So, my friend Woody, what is on the agenda today? What are we going to be talking about on our fantastic Fun and Garden show?
I was searching my mind, which is kind of like a room that's empty. I was looking in the corners of my mind and trying to figure out something. And I had a thing happen in my own garden.
Okay.
That made me think of it. This is going to sound crazy, but I'm sitting and eating dinner, and I look out at my great big locust tree, and my locust tree is about 40 feet high.
Okay. Oh, it's huge.
Yeah. I mean, the trunk is over a foot in diameter.
Wait, are those the one?
It's the one in the front yard over
the
corner.
front yard. Okay, I was thinking because you have big trees in the back of your
well, and
place.
I noticed that the tree the leaves are turning gold.
What?
Yeah, it shouldn't be happening,
Wait, hold on. Isn't that supposed to happen during the fall?
Yeah. So I go outside, and I've got one big limb that's about 6 or 8 inches in diameter, and it comes off and it goes clear up to the top of the tree, and all the leaves on that limb are turning gold instead of green.
So you're growing gold leaves?
Yeah.
Magical gold leaves?
Yeah, not exactly. More like your leaf is dead.
Oh.
So I'm concerned, and I'm thinking, what am I going to do? What's the problem?
Yeah.
So I went to work trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And I thought, today on the show we could talk about diseases that come and get in our yard, diseases and pests and things like that, and how you fight them.
So you believe that there is something going on?
Oh, yeah. And so I got on the web, and, the web's a wonderful resource. Mm-hmm. And I typed, why are the leaves on my locust tree turning yellow?
So what did Google answer back?
And it come up with a bunch of different answers.
Like what?
And it's kind of interesting because what I think is the correct answer is something that I had no idea would ever happen.
Okay.
And it said, in areas where they have a wet spring, like we did last year.
We actually did, yes.
We had a wet spring.
Yes.
And then it turns hot and dry.
Uh-huh.
It stresses the tree. And especially if the manager of the property, the owner, like me, if I put in a lot of gravel last year and I tried to cut back on water.
Yes, you
right.
zero-scaped your backyard. You ripped out all the lawn, which makes sense because you are saving a lot of money on water.
Right. And lo and behold, I cut back a little bit in the front, and that combination of factors stress the tree, and it's turning yellow because it's stressed and it's telling me that it's in trouble. So what I did was, the first thing I did was I got hold of some Bayer tree and shrub medicine, the stuff that kills any, because I thought if there's a bug in it, I want to kill it.
Yeah, of course.
I couldn't see any bore holes anywhere. Looked at it as much as I could, got up on the ladder, looked in there and everything. But I put it on anyway. I had about a quarter of a bottle left, and I mixed it up with water and poured it on. And then I let the hose run on it for about 2 hours on the tree, because I thought if it needs water, I'm going to water really deep, because I hadn't really done that. The only water it was getting was from the sprinklers for the lawn. And then the next day, I got some Miracle-Gro, put in my hose end sprayer, and sprayed a whole thing of Miracle-Gro around it.
I was about to ask you if it was the base or the trunk or the whole tree.
Yeah, well, no, not up on the tree,
just
down
on
around
the
the trunk,
Okay.
At the base, and I just soaked it. And then after the Miracle-Gro, I watered it heavy again. Now, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
And you can't guess what happened when I got up this morning. Those gold leaves are turning green.
That quick?
Yeah.
That quick?
The gold is starting to go away.
So...
And I can't believe, because I didn't think it would go away. I thought they'd drop off. Usually when a leaf turns yellow like that, it'll dry up and it'll drop off.
Okay, so let me scoot back a little bit. Okay, so you zero-scaped, and the tree was counting on either the water or the local vegetation that it thrived on, the grass that you took out for whatever reason?
No, water. It was counting on the water.
It was counting on the water from your sprinkler system,
right. And
you took that out.
Yeah.
All right.
And so all of a sudden it's got a wet spring. It's used all this moisture, and then it's cut off.
Okay.
And it gets anytime a plant or grass, vegetation, whatever, gets stressed, then it starts to show by the color of the leaves turning, or the leaves will start to wrinkle and roll up, or the bark will start to dry, or something.
Well,
and then it's in distress. The problem is, a lot of times, by the time you see that, it's too late to save it.
Oh.
But I hope that I've saved this, because I don't want to take that tree down. That's a big tree.
Well, I was about to ask you, some of my rose bushes, and I have, plenty on my property. Some are doing really well, but like you said, there's little signs, there's small signs of it being in distress, And so obviously I want. Okay, so you're suggesting Miracle Grow
and water.
and water.
That's the first thing I do.
Okay.
After you look at it and you make sure that you can't see an insect infestation somewhere.
Okay, so what am I looking for insects? Are you talking about eggs? Are you talking about little ant-like creatures, or just
usually with roses, it'll be on the back side of the leaves, and it's eggs, like aphids. That's
okay? Yeah.
Aphids, and you can. The problem being with, in fact, it's if we turn the conversation a little bit, but when a plant is healthy, when it's doing really good, and the aphids come along, or the ants come along, or whatever kind of grasshoppers come along, most of the time the plant can withstand the attack because it's healthy, and it actually grows faster than the insect destroys it.
I see. So, but if it's lacking nutrition,
if it's distressed, then
more vulnerable.
More vulnerable, and the insect will get to it.
That makes sense.
So, the especially with roses, any kind of rose food that you buy has a insecticide in it.
Okay.
Like the granules you buy in a shaker and you put it on like salt.
Yes.
It has, and then you water it, and the insecticide will go down in the soil, go to the roots, come up in the plant, and kill any bug or insect that's on it.
Okay.
It's called systemic.
Couple quick questions about that. Okay, you got me hooked on the Miracle Grow. We love Miracle Grow. If the folks,
but there's no insecticide in Miracle Grow.
If the folks listening to Miracle Grow are listening, please send a truckload of Miracle Grow for us.
Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Ship it from New Zealand.
So this. And then there's this knockoff Miracle Grow at Walmart.
Yeah.
But okay, so I guess my question is, I definitely need to start, shaking some of that rose stuff on, like you're recommending right now. Is there a generic version of that stuff? And would you trust it, or would you?
I don't know that I've ever seen a generic.
Is it pretty spendy, like for one of those bottles? Because I know.
Well, it's a shaker, and it's about 2 or 3 inches in diameter and about that high.
Yeah,
and they'll be $8 or $10.
Okay, so what am I trying to ask? So you would prefer that is applied to my dying rose bushes more so than the Miracle Grow, or can I get away with doing both?
You can get away with doing both. Just don't do them at the same time.
Okay, so
a couple of days in between.
Okay,
but I would do the rose food and systemic insecticide first.
Okay, and now that's obviously a dry, powdery substance stuff.
It's granulated.
Okay, so would you want to get your rose bushes, I guess, wet or damp first, or shake it on and then
shake it on and then water the soil
just slightly?
Yeah, where you shake it's at the base, not on the plant.
Okay. But you don't want to obviously overflood it, because that stuff is going to just.
They do have a powder that you can squirt the powder on the plant, but that's not near as good as the other.
Is there a name brand for the rose?
No, Ortho makes it. Bayer makes it. So on.
I think you really like Bayer products a little bit more.
Well, Ortho's a really good product too. The thing that I like about Bayer is that here they've got a product that's good for trees, it's good for rose bushes, it's good for shrubs, it's good for all these different kind of things.
Here, let me cut you off there. We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Wait, hold on. Let me see. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Hey, yes, you are on the Garden Show with Woody and Artie.
Hey, Woody. Hey, Artie. How are you? This is Lloyd calling.
Hey, what's going on, Lloyd?
Not too much. Just watching you on the Facebook Live here. I love hearing a couple fellas talking gardening. Ah, man, do I ever love to garden.
Well,
good.
Okay, so Lloyd, give us some of your tips. I mean, we were talking about fertilizing roses. We're talking about Woody and his issue with the lack of water. You've obviously heard the program. What are some of the things that you've experienced, and what advice would you give us and the listeners?
I mean, pure ecstasy is what I experience when I'm out there in that garden surrounded by those smells. Ooh, baby, yeah,
You like that,
love that gardening. Oh, yeah. I love that stuff. I'll tell you what. I'll sit out in the garden all day long. You know, my wife says, "Hey, come to bed." I said, "I'm doing fine out here in the garden."
What kind of garden do you grow, Lloyd?
I got a vegetable garden.
Okay, good.
Now, Lloyd, are you?
I mean, I got some other plants as well in there, flowers and stuff the wife likes. But I'm all about my vegetables, and I'm telling you, when I'm in my vegetable garden, I am getting so hot and heavy, baby.
Well, I'm just wondering, Lloyd, if you're also smoking some Mary Jane while you're enjoying your vegetable garden as well. So.
Oh, no, I don't need marijuana to get horny at all.
Look, good for you, Lloyd.
So
the tomatoes, they're the ones that get you that way.
So it was the tomatoes that get Lloyd gets Lloyd that way.
Yeah.
Or what else? What other vegetables do you like?
I mean, just being surrounded by all of them. I mean, I'm just sitting there batching off all day long in the hot sun.
Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Have you had a good year for your tomatoes?
Oh, man, I've had a good year for batching off, that's for sure, fellas. Well, you guys have a good day. And, hey, I love that you're doing this show. I love that you're getting the message out there that it's all right to be horny for your garden, baby.
Absolutely. I'm horny for my garden. And, Lloyd, I expect you to call every time that we're on the show.
I will call. Hell yeah.
All right.
Goodbye, Lloyd. He left us.
No, that was called a crank call, and I absolutely loved that.
Yeah.
that actually. So we'd like to encourage anyone, whether or not you have a serious question or not, if it's a crank call, the worse, the better, in my opinion.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Well, see, you've had that experience. I haven't.
But no, I mean, in all seriousness, if we could put a positive twist on what Lloyd was referring to, it is very fulfilling, if you spend the time to plant your garden and, you watch it grow and you just lay.
I loved spending time out there too.
Yeah.
The only
and it smells. The smell is good. The smell
problem
is
I
wonderful.
Have is when it gets so hot in the afternoon, I have to head for the indoors. But in the morning when it's cool, I love it out there.
Yeah, the smell, it's intoxicating.
And you know what else is really enjoyable is when you take a bowl or a basket and you go out and harvest.
Yeah.
Some peppers, some tomatoes, some berries, some cucumbers, and you come in with this big basket of stuff that you brought out of your garden.
And that I bet that's what Lloyd does.
I'll bet so too.
I bet he can't pick those cucumbers and vegetables fast enough.
Yep.
To enjoy indoors.
So
and he may not be eating them. But he's definitely sure enjoying
He's
them.
having a good time.
Yes. All right, so this is the Fun Garden Show. Let's reset here.
Yeah, we were talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about the we were talking about how a plant will if it's in good shape, it'll withstand most insect attacks.
Okay.
But if it's distressed, then it has a hard time. And especially the kind of insecticides that have systemic things in them.
Oh, so, okay. Remind us what that is.
Okay.
I have to be reminded all the time because I'm dumb.
The insecticide goes down in the soil, goes into the roots, goes up the stems, into the leaves.
Okay.
Any bug that's eating that plant will die. Whether it's a borer inside, whether it's an aphid on the leaf, no matter what it is, it will be dead the next day.
Okay, and obviously the other kind is when you apply towards fruits and vegetables.
Topical, yeah. Now, the one thing you don't do, you don't do systemic and then eat the leaves or chew on the stem, because it'll get you.
I think that's what our caller Lloyd was eating. He was eating some of that, but
yeah, he might have been.
It was kind of getting to him.
Yeah. Like, you don't do your tomato plants with systemic.
Okay.
If you're going to eat the tomatoes. Now, if you want to kill the skunks and the raccoons in your neighborhood, then you could do it that way.
Oh man, I've told you that I had a skunk outside. Did I? Because I love animals. I put like cat and dog food outside. Yeah. And so I've told you about my skunk issue. When I wake up at 2:00 in the morning. For my pee schedule, and then I let the my cats in, and lo and behold, there was a big freaking
skunkola.
No, not
raccoon.
Raccoon.
Oh no,
raccoon! Just looked at me like, oh my gosh, what the heck? And I looked at him like, what the heck?
A raccoon to tear those cats apart.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
Raccoons can be really, really mean.
Yeah, so I got to be careful about my cats outside.
I have a grape arbor, and my grapes were doing really good this year. I've got, I had great big bunches of grapes, 2 feet long, just loaded.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the sugar to go into the grape. And when it does, the grape goes from a green grape to a kind of a gold color. So I thought, the end of the week, I'm going to pick these, and they're going to be just great. I go out to pick them, and every grape is gone. There's been a raccoon in there that stood up on its rear legs and stripped all those bunches of grapes and ate them.
Gosh.
Every grape is gone.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. It made me feel bad. What I usually do is pick most of them, and then I'll leave, 15, 20 pounds on there for the birds.
Yeah.
And the birds will spend a month eating on them.
Okay.
But this thing overnight cleaned out every grape I had.
Huh.
And I don't think a skunk could reach up there and get them, because they were, like 3.5, 4 feet off the ground.
Unless you set out little skunk stools for them to climb up on,
little
or
chairs,
ladders, little skunk ladders.
Yeah. But raccoons, they have opposable thumbs, and they can do really strange things.
That is wild.
Yeah, and so.
Okay, so what else do you recommend for at this time of the year? We talked about your tree, how well it's doing.
It's starting to come back. I have high hopes it's going to make it. The main thing that I want to, if you take one thing from this program, it is be observant. Go out in your garden, even if it's hot. First thing you do is you turn on the sprinklers and you make sure they're working everywhere where they should be. Okay. You don't have one that's clogged or one that's shooting in the air.
Of course, I've been guilty of having those problems happen.
Yeah, so you check that, turn them on, make sure. Sometimes your bubblers get clogged and it's on and it's coming out of this bubbler but not that bubbler.
Okay.
So then you have to fix that. And so that's the first thing you do. The second thing you do is look for signs of distress in the plant. Are some of the leaves wilting? Are they curling up?
Are they falling off?
Are they falling off? Are they turning yellow?
Or maybe even little bite marks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So you look for that kind of stuff. And you look for the blossoms.
Uh-huh.
You know, sometimes if they're in distress, the blossom will get ready to open, and it dies instead. So you look for all these things, and then if you find them, then you do some adjustment. And the first and easiest thing to do is to increase the water a little bit.
Okay.
You know, that's the easy thing.
And especially, and I was going to ask you, especially maybe this time of the year, because I noticed that little Woody has really given me some great advice about my my property, my yard, my grass. There's that little section of grass. I've noticed recently that it's starting to bud up.
Oh, okay.
And so I guess assume
it
this
was
is
water.
I guess this is the best time to maybe fertilize that more, or put down some grass seed and put some sod over it. I guess what I'm asking is when is that second
if
part?
you're going to reseed it, I'd wait another 2-3 weeks.
Oh, because of the heat.
Yeah.
Well, it was 106 yesterday.
That's too hot.
But I was really shocked that I'm actually seeing something growing.
Yeah. You want it, when it gets down to 95 or 90, that's when you want to start seeding things.
So wait for a couple of weeks, or else I'm wasting my money.
See, one of the things that I think of in the summer here, I'm from Salt Lake, and when you're in Salt Lake, if you watch the temperature, it'll start out at 70, and it goes up to a peak about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'll be 100. Mm-hmm. And then about 4 o'clock, 4:30, it starts to go down. Okay, so it's a peak. Mm-hmm. Not here. Here in the summer, it's 100 degrees at 9 in the morning, and it stays 100 degrees all day long, and it doesn't go down until about midnight. So that is a lot different than having a peak of a high temperature. Now, right now, as the sun starts to set earlier, we're going to move from that all day long hot temperature to a peak temperature. And then the peak's going to start coming down into the 90s and the 80s. And usually by the end of September, it's in the lower 80s.
Lower 80s, okay.
Yeah. And one of the things that's happened in my garden, and that's really the only way that I can experience things and tell you guys about them, is all of a sudden my tomatoes have started to look better.
Oh, okay.
They're doing better because it's cooler at night. The temperature at night with tomatoes is almost more important than the temperature during the day.
So when would you do your walls of water during the fall time at all?
No. But see, all of a sudden, instead of being 78 at night, it's 68. And that 10 degrees, that's when the tomato does better at night. The tomato does a lot of its tomatoing
I love
at
that.
night. At night.
That's the best expression. I don't know if that's the correct expression, but that was wonderful.
Yeah, the buds set better and the fruit grows bigger and all that kind of stuff when the temperature is below 70 degrees at night.
Okay.
So, right now until the end of October, we're going to get a whole nother crop of tomatoes.
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Good.
And it's going to be good.
Now, Woody has built up this really incredible above the ground gardening system with cinder blocks. And let's see, what else do you have in there besides tomatoes?
I got the sprinklers that go down in the raised beds.
Yes.
I've got some cucumbers, and I've got some blackberries, and I've got some squash.
Okay.
And my squash all of a sudden is doing better.
And I think that's just such a brilliant idea, especially for us down here in southern Utah, because you're putting in some really good compost, and you're not
you don't have to compost the whole yard, just the 2 or 3 feet.
Yeah, but also you don't have that freaking red clay that we have.
Right.
That's impossible to grow stuff in. So.
2 weeks ago, I put in a winter garden, and I put in Brussels sprouts, your favorite,
I love Brussels.
and cauliflower, and onions and radishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got, within 4 days, I had radishes this high. I was surprised. They germinated so quick. And I've got this, I had to go out this morning and thin them.
Wow.
There's so many plants that I had to thin them out a little bit.
So the bottom line is, once again, it sounds like it is the cooler temperatures at night is what is
making the difference. Well, and the other thing I did is before I put the seeds in for my winter garden,
Mm-hmm.
I poured a bag of compost on there, took my shovel, turned it around, turned it over, mixed it in. Then I put my seeds in, and I changed the sprinkler system.
Mm-hmm.
I tried something that I've never tried before. Where I had a bubbler,
Mm-hmm.
I brought a pipe off. I put a connection in and brought a pipe off, and I made an H fixture out of PVC that goes down. It goes across the garden and it goes down each side where I'm going to put seeds. And I took a 1/8 of an inch drill bit and I drilled holes in the PVC.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and now I turn on the sprinkler and it's like it's raining on the garden.
It's a great
And
idea.
It gets the whole area wet, and it's worked really well. I'm kind of it's kind of like buying one of those old soaker hoses and putting it down there and turning it on.
But you're saving money. You're doing it yourself, and it's the same concept.
And
so
it
that's-
worked really
that's
well.
awesome.
I'm really surprised. It worked really good.
Cool. All right, so let's see. It's a little bit before fall. What are some things that we can start doing now to help prepare, those items that we want to grow in the fall?
Well, we keep talking about the need to plan, and right now a person should really be sitting down and planning for your winter garden. You should be putting in right now, but even your garden for next spring and the vegetables and everything, you should be planning for it right now. And it is just as the fall progresses and say the tomatoes freeze and so on, you pull them out. That's the time you want to put some compost in, mix it up for next spring. Because it needs to decay and it needs to rot and it needs to get the nutrients in the soil. And so if you're going to plant that next year, why put some compost in, maybe sprinkle a little Epsom salts on there.
Oh, now I was going to ask you if you add anything. Now, what would be the purpose of the Epsom salt?
It's magnesium sulfate.
So it helps break it down naturally.
Magnesium is an element that some plants have to have, and other plants don't. They don't use it. But I remember I have a magnolia tree in my backyard, and magnolia trees are, down south in the southern part of the United States.
So how's it doing in St. George?
Yeah, well, it's there. It hasn't done as well as I'd like, but it's 25 feet tall. But when I was down to Disney World, there was a gardener, and he was working on their magnolia trees. So I went up and told him that I lived in Utah and I needed to know what to do for a magnolia tree to help it grow. And he says, the one thing that magnolia trees need and have to be healthy is magnesium.
Oh.
And it surprised me. I'd never heard of that. And so he told me, he says, go buy some Epsom salts, sprinkle it around the tree and water it about once a month. And he says, that's what we do here. And the magnolia trees really love it. And so, there's a great big magnolia tree over at the LDS temple in the corner where the temple makes a by the front doors.
Okay, on the north side or
on
south
the north
side?
side of the doors.
Okay.
And it's probably 40 feet tall, and it's beautiful. And it's been growing there for 30 years. And but magnolia trees there are some kinds of magnolia trees that generally will do well in a cooler climate, even in Salt Lake.
Oh, hey. Oh.
We have another phone call. 1 second. Hold.
Let's see. Okay, let's see. Phone. Did they hang up? Hello? Is this Radio St. George?
Hello?
They hung up on us. They hung. Why would they hang up on us?
Well, maybe they were ringing for 10 minutes and we didn't know.
Well, let's try it again. Here. Okay. Oh, hi. Is this Radio St. George? Woody and Artie?
Yes.
I just want to let you guys know that I'm a real big fan, and I'm just grateful that you guys do this program every week.
Well, we'd love to hear you say that.
Yeah, the guy earlier named Lloyd, he was calling about how much he loves to, lay down in his garden and smell all the delicious smells, and so I kind of agree with him. And there's nothing more pleasant than seeing something grow that you have planted, and you see the fruits of your labor, so to speak, no pun intended.
You bet.
Yeah. Hey, you guys are always doing a great job. I see on Facebook, and I know that your show is also on 8 o'clock on Saturday mornings on Radio St. George 100.3. So that is freaking awesome. Keep up the good work, okay?
Thank you for calling.
All right.
And you know what, that caller, it reminded me when I first moved down here to St. George. One of the things I planted, I went down to Vegas because we didn't have a Star Nursery here in St. George. They were all in Vegas, and I bought a jasmine plant.
Okay.
You heard of jasmine?
She's really good looking.
Yes, she is.
She has a great smile and a great singer as well.
She has, she's particularly wonderful. But we planted this jasmine plant, and it's like a vine, and it blooms from about June, July, that time frame. And we would go outside at night, and the smell 30, 40 feet away would be so strong. It puts out a fragrance, a pheromone, I don't know what you call it.
Sure.
But it is really something. If you want to have something that smells really neat in a garden, why jasmine is one of the things. Jasmine and wisteria. Have you ever heard of wisteria?
No.
It has a purple flower on it that hangs upside down. It looks like a bunch of grapes.
Oh, okay.
And it's a vine.
Now, I love the smell in the river bottoms, kind of like that river bottom that goes to your neck of the woods in Bloomington Hills. I love that smell. It has this. It's a lot cooler.
Right.
But what kind of foliage or flowers or plants are around that area?
Well, obviously there's willows, but I don't know of a smell that they put out. There's tamarisk that the bugs are trying to kill,
All right.
and they put out a smell, but it's not usually real pleasant.
Well, what other things do you recommend right now to help prepare for fall gardening?
Well, if you're going to do a fall garden, a winter garden, a cool weather garden is more accurate. I would get the area cleaned out, and you want to clean out everything. You want all the leaves out, all the debris out, down to the dirt. Put your compost in, stir it around, check your sprinklers, and do them if you need to do something different, and then put your seeds in. Okay. And when you buy seeds, and this is my business is seeds. Buy a good quality seed. Don't buy cheap seeds.
Yeah.
Because,
Get what you pay for.
Well, the cheap seeds, you plant 100 of them and 2 plants come up. You buy the good seeds and you plant 198 of them come up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it makes a difference. And think about what plant what you eat. Now, I like cauliflower, and I like Brussels sprouts, and I like onions, and I like radishes. So that's the stuff that I planted. And I'm hoping to – I've never done a winter garden before, so I'm kind of hoping to the other thing you can plant that does really well in the winter are carrots.
Okay, carrots.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like carrots.
Now, let me ask you this. Of course, you're the gardening expert. I'm just the dumb DJ that pokes buttons.
Wait, I got to have a drink.
Of your diet vodka. Let's see.
Caffeine-free vodka.
Do you plant pumpkins during the summer or late summer?
Your pumpkins would have to be in there and be,
ready to go.
You plant them in the spring.
So if you want some for Halloween or for Thanksgiving
you're not
area,
get them now.
Yeah. Okay. So when do you plant those?
In June.
June or so. Okay.
Yeah. Burpee has about 6 or 8 different varieties of pumpkin, and one of them is a rattlesnake. It's called.
Now, what's that?
Well,
what does that look like?
It's got big old stripes on it.
Okay.
And, dark light, all the way around. They get 60 pounds.
Are that big?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, wait a minute. The rattlesnake I'm thinking of is watermelon. Excuse me. Their pumpkin seeds, the large one is called jack-o'-lantern.
Okay.
And they have everything from baby pumpkins to jack-o'-lanterns. And the jack-o'-lanterns are about 2.5, 3 feet in diameter. I used to know a lady in Salt Lake. She lived in Holiday, and her hobby was gardening. And every fall, she would take a bunch of stuff to the state fair and enter it. And she used to grow pumpkins that weighed 300 pounds.
Oh, my gosh.
And she would have to have
Are you sure that wasn't her husband and she was blind?
She would have to have a big lift truck come and put it on the flatbed truck to take it to the fair. You could have crawled inside one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, it is. I've never seen anything. I didn't know they had them that big.
It's
a special breed.
I just realized, we're towards the end of the show, but I bet you had a topic all ready to go, and I've just been rambling and asking questions and derailing the show left and right. So I apologize.
But no, it's fun. It's fun.
I
like
apologize. You probably had something prepared, Woody.
Well,
you are always prepared. Now I just it was a train wreck episode.
How much time have we got left?
We have a good 14 minutes.
Oh,
no, wait. About 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
I want to tell you about something I found when I was researching the diseases on the web that not animals but plants have.
Okay.
There are apps now that you can buy and put on your phone. And there was one called Plant X, PLANTEX, and you go up to let's say your tomatoes, the leaves are starting to curl up. You take a picture and you send it, and within 24 hours, they send you back the information and tell you what disease you have.
Oh, wow.
And what to use to get rid of it. And now I think that's pretty amazing. I didn't, I told you before last spring, I'm cheap.
I'm cheap. Yeah. I'm always cheap.
And what I found out was you have to pay to have that service.
Wow.
But, if you were a farmer and you were depending on your livelihood, that wouldn't be a bad thing to have. And I think as time goes on, you're going to see apps that you can take a picture and it'll just be instantaneous and it'll tell you what disease is on it.
Sure.
Yeah. I have an app on my phone right now that you take the picture and it tells you what the plant is.
Oh,
It identifies the plant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
and,
awesome.
it'll tell you that it's a marigold or whatever, hollyhock or whatever.
I should take. Okay, I over by me where I work. There are a couple of really beautiful plants, and I was actually thinking about taking a picture so you can help me identify what the heck those are.
I'll let you know the app, and you can take it, and it'll tell you.
No, I'll just pay you $2.
Oh.
You'll be my app.
Oh, okay.
Tell me what it is and what.
Yeah.
So, because I think some of the Mexican fan plants. What do we call those?
The yuccas.
Yeah, they're not doing well in my front yard. People think they're weeds, but they're actually flowers. So anyway, I saw these two really cool, strange, and unusual plants over where where I work. And I was
Have
thinking,
you been to Star? They have a big selection of those kind of plants.
Yeah.
But even though it's a desert plant, it wouldn't be a good time to plant it.
Okay, that's good advice.
Yeah,
That-
it
that's
wouldn't
good
be
advice.
until maybe the end of September.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll wait to do that because for some reason I love those Mexican fan plant things.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they're just freaking weeds.
No.
So-
One of the things I wanted to bring up too on the show was Star. This is the time of year when they have a lot of their stuff on sale. Mm-hmm. A lot of their plants are closing out. Is on sale. And I noticed today in the news in my mail.
Mm-hmm.
In the ad section, Lowe's has got a big sale right now on all their stuff.
Oh,
for
no
the
kidding.
gardens. They have their bark, 5 bags for $10.
That's a great deal.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of their annuals and perennials on sale. They've got 1 gallon size annuals for 88 cents.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this is a good time to do it. The other place that's got a sale going is Ace Hardware. Mm-hmm. I got a brochure from them, and they've got a lot of stuff for your garden on sale.
Well, cool.
So it's a good time to look for the bargains, even if you're not going to use it until next spring. Some insecticide, some fertilizer,
Sure.
a new nozzle for the hose, whatever. But you get it cheaper now.
But hold off on digging up old plants and replanting new ones for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's too soon.
Well, that's that's been this has been a great show. But once again, I feel guilty and horrible that I've just been steering you in weird directions, one or another.
It's okay, Artie. It's all right.
Because you had a talk
It's all
plan.
right.
You had a talk plan. You were going to give us a wonderful speech about
2.5 minute talks.
I thought you were going to give us a big sermon.
Yeah.
And I just derailed your knowledgeable and
Go forth.
informative sermon.
Go forth and do not cast your bread on the stoned water.
And don't let your meat loaf.
And you can't say that on the air, Artie.
I think that's okay.
No, I don't know.
Oh, who knows?
Yeah, well, Lloyd will tell you.
All right, folks, and you you can log on to fundandgarden.com and interact with Harvey.
Harvey,
Yep.
he answers questions.
We want your questions. We want you to interact with us like our good friend Lloyd and the other person.
Harvey I'm a little concerned. He hasn't moved much.
Oh, well,
He's staying in the same place.
yes.
But he's still smiling.
Made out of concrete, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
But maybe you should start feeding them. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So interact with us. Tell us how the show is. Give us some suggestions about future shows. Woody has his famous chili sauce on funandgarden.com. And, of course, you can hear the show being repeated on Radio St. George 100.3 at 8 a.m. every Saturday morning.
Mom and I, in the next week or two, are going to make some blackberry jam.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
And I'll put a recipe on for that.
I'm just kidding.
And I'll bring you some to taste. But
I
just
haven't-
a little teeny bit, Artie.
I haven't. I shouldn't knock it before I try it. I don't know
You
what.
don't like blackberries?
I should give it a try.
Yeah.
I was nervous about your chili sauce, but after I tried it, I guzzled it down. Like an actual beverage.
And now you want more, don't you?
And absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the blackberries that are that definitely I'm looking. In all seriousness, I'm really looking forward to trying it because you and your wonderful spouse, that you do a wonderful job cooking and incorporating all these vegetables and herbs.
Give the credit to her. It's not me.
Yeah. Well, enjoy our show online if you want to, listen to a replay or enjoy it every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock on KDXI Radio St. George 100.3. Again, we want to thank our good friend Sean Denovan. He is the grand poopah.
Yes, Mr. Big.
Mr. Big. And until next week, give us your final thought.
Be there, be square.
Don't.
No.
I shouldn't say that one.
No.
Be there, be square, and
later alligator.
Later alligator. I need to find some kind of a sign off.
Yeah, you do.
All right.
Or you could just say sign off.
Sign off. All right. This has been. I wish we had some kind of like a jingle.
A jingle?
Oh yeah,
or a jangle.
A jingle or a jangle or this has been or our professional radio voice. I could. Should I try being our professional radio voice?
We get Johnny Cash to do what is it? Circle of Fire.
Something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Let me try to sign off using my professional radio voice.
Okay.
This has been the Fun and Garden Show on Radio St. George 100.3. Was that good?
That was good.
All right.
That was good.
See you, Woody.
See ya.